Damn. Yo, these demons, man. Wow, they're all faking, dude. This is a lie. Don't listen to him. Even that smile. Oh god. We have words. What the fuck? No. Am I getting too amped up about this? Man, I'm getting mad over fake characters in anime. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated psychotherapist, and I will be decoding the human condition and relevant psychological concepts from each video that I watch. So what does Frieren Beyond Journey's Ends, episode 7, reveal about the gap between our idealized reality and actual reality? What is narrative therapy? The perception of time and urgency, how to use cognitive reframing to reshape the stories we tell about ourselves, and much more. Let's get started. A lot of fakes so far, as we have established. Also, it makes so much sense that Frieren has known that there's so many fakes out there. Don't even bother. All the quests, all the missions she's taken on. It's because she is the mentee. She knew Flamme the legendary mage personally. And also, can we talk about in the last episode 6, she talks about her mentor and teacher, Flamme the legendary mage, would beg for her life repeatedly, that Frieren grew numb to the begging life, that the mentor would beg her for life. What's the context? What happens? I need to know. No spoilers though. It does, because Frieren knew it. If her teacher, the legendary mage, is more of a myth than history, then what does that put Frieren? Or is this a setup for this episode that, hold up, Frieren herself, the legendary elf mage that defeated the Demon King with Himo the Hero's party, she is now also part of the myth? Has she also become a part of the history, this myth-like character, just like her teacher once were? And I'm guessing that this episode will be about the oral history, the tradition, the myth, the history, the reality, how do we make of it, and how is going to Frieren position herself in the midst of all this. Because she said it last episode, in episode 6, that she doesn't like this grandiose, grand opening departure when they were leaving for the end through the checkpoints. I'm sure you guys remember. And so we know that she doesn't like that because she lives for 10,000 years old. So of course she's like a myth-like figure. But I think in this episode, psychologically, it'll be interesting to see how is Frieren herself going to position herself with this part of oral history, myth-like tradition. Is she going to fade away slowly from the view and the perceptions of the world like her teacher once were? Except her teacher was a human, but she's an elf. Interesting start. Enough years have passed. Oh, this was a flashback back to Himo, the hero. Quick psychoeducation, and psychoeducation means education about helpful health information psychologically. That's the technical term we use as psychotherapists. We know that Frieren sleeps a lot. That's been widely established and confirmed in all 7 episodes so far. I want to quickly talk about the importance of sleep. Oh yeah, sleep, R&R, reset and recovery. I think in this healing holistic era that TikTok has hijacked brutally, we've known that sleep is important. But what does sleep actually do? What's the purpose besides dreaming and our consciousness fading out for 5 to 8 hours every night? Simply put, since this isn't a neuroscience class, but let me geek out and let me nerd out real quick, because I think being a nerd is cool in 2025, right? So long story short, When you're in a sleeping state, or as we call a subconscious state, when your consciousness goes into this dormant mode when we're sleeping, your neurons, which is the molecules and everything that we need to allow our brains, our bodies to function. Because our minds and our body is a bi-directional system. We need the body and also the mind. Your neurons are working extra hard when you're at a sleeping state to clean the toxins, all the stress, all the cumulative toll. There's a great book called Body Keeps the Score. It talks about the mind-body paradigm and how that's been proven. And when you're awake, you deal with your family drama, your work stresses, life. I'm in Los Angeles, and this week of recording is during the historical LA wildfire. Prayers and thoughts go out to a lot of my friends, firefighters, and families that are displaced and impacted. Brutal tragedy. We almost had to evacuate because one of the closest fires was about 15 blocks from us. But thankfully to God and also firefighters that we didn't have to. So all these stresses, when you're awake, you may not always notice the stress because we're filled with endless distractions. TV, Netflix, this reaction video, your work, your relationship, your activities, leisures, and so on. Endless entertainment and endless distraction. So it's not until you're in this restful idleness state that you realize, holy crap, we are really stressed. Way more stressed than what we realize. So when you're asleep, your neurons are cleaning all these toxins because cumulative stress creates neurotoxins in your brains. And in this short duration of time, it might not be a big deal. But I promise you through weeks, months, and years, that's where all this chronic health happens. Health is severely impacted by stress. And according to the latest neuroscience and health literature, that stress is the #1 contributing factor to your GI issues, your stomach, your ability to use the bathroom, your ability to sleep, your ability to show up in your life, in your work, and everything in between. So we literally need sleep for us to clean the neurotoxin that's in our brain. Just like you could be driving a Ferrari, Lamborghini, $500,000 car, supercars. But can you run without engine? Can you run without fuel? You can have the best V12 engine there is. I don't know anything about cars, but I do know V12 is the best. You can have the best V12 engine, aka the best body, best workout, best physique. But if you have no supreme oil and supreme gas, your car is not gonna move anything. It's just a chunk of metal sitting in the parking lot that's very expensive and very good looking to look at. Same thing for humans. If Tesla can update softwares for their cars overnight, if Ferraris needs to stop once in a while to refuel and recharge, what about us as humans, biological creatures? And maybe that's the secret to Frien's longevity. Maybe she sleeps so much and she never wakes up in the morning. That's why she can live so long. I know, she's an elf, but you get my point. It's a miracle! Christmas came early. We call this behaviorism. You're conditioning your animals and pets to behave in the way you want them to be. So for example, my second cat has been struggling to groom herself because she's still a kitten. So after she used the litter box to poop, she doesn't always clean her butt. I know, she's a cat. She needs to. So she will leave like poop stain once in a while. I was like, dude, you're a cat. You need to clean your butthole. So what do? Behaviorism. You help condition the cat by every time my cat cleans herself after she uses the litter box, we praise her, we give her treats. That's what Fern is doing to Frieren here. She's conditioning Frieren by praising her when she does something good, like a good girl. It's hilarious that even in these seemingly irrelevant, brief moments in this show, there's deep psychological insights. Or does this mean that I'm just a geek? It could be both. Look at Starks. Oh, Stark's the one massaging. I love the music. Oh, the last parts of the song lyrics are in English. I noticed that for the first time, 7 episodes later. Honestly, in every MMORPG games I've ever played, I've always played mage or warlocks. Shout out to World of Warcraft.
そうじゃなくて魔法で場所を向こう側に運んだりできるだろう。
ってフェルンが言って
The foresight.
自分勝手だね。
Real quick, I'm sure with all my analysis and comments so far since episode 1, and I'm sure you the viewers also noticed that Frieren continues to display more and more facial expressions. This is a sign of healthy development, what we call emotional congruence. How you want to express yourself and how you feel inside, internally and externally, is congruent or synchronized or consistent. Emotional congruence is huge because when you're emotion incongruent for whatever different reasons, you experience more anxiety, depression, angst, you feel less like yourself, you depart farther and farther away from your authentic self, or your higher self, as we call it sometimes in the spiritual realm. And it's amazing to see that Frieren is being more of herself, maybe before all of her grief, the loss, trauma. Shout out to Himo the hero, but also Fern. I know for a fact that the mentor-mentee dynamic is also bi-directional. It's both ways. It's not just that as mentors, our job is to help mold and even elevate our mentees to become the best versions of themselves. Not what we want of them, not our versions 2.0, but to the maximum potential that they're given. But also it's the other way. Our mentees, just like children sometimes help parents grow up for the second time by learning and revisiting their mistakes, what they didn't experience or didn't have in their own childhood. In this case, Fern is also helping Frieren to develop more human-like emotions and human-like characteristic. We can all argue that elf lives 1,000 times longer than humans. Of course, yes, elves are mystical creatures, I get it. But at the same time, no one can take away the fact that the meaningfulness of our life's journey is not predicated or limited to the quantity of time. And you can see in this dynamic that Frieren is becoming more of herself. She's smiling more. She has more facial expressions. She's more dynamic versus the one who used to be in the first couple episodes who will crack a smile once in a blue moon. That's why every time she cracked a smile, I'm like, whoa, she smiled just now. She's not a robot.
ところで、なんでここだけこんなに崩れてるんだ？
北側諸国も場所によっては魔族と交戦状態にあるところもありまして、
The battles are still going on.
そのとばっちりかと。
争いの爪痕ってわけか。
The scars of wars. Great phrasing.
シュタルク様、そっちは一旦置いておいて、こっちを手伝ってもらっていいですか？
When did Fern's, I guess, honorific for Stark went from Mr. Stark to Sir Stark? Is it because after Sir Stark defeated the Solar Dragon in one slash, has Stark regained his respect in Fern's mind? I'm sure he did, but I just noticed that Sir Stark, that's a first.
なあ、そのシュタルク様ってのやめない？
Whoa, call
つ
this.
かないんだ。年だってそんな変わらねえだろ？
そうですか。わかりました。シュタルク、さっさとこっちに来て早く。
I think for Fern, maybe because she obviously was, I guess, half raised by Frieren after the bishop passed away, that I think she's like 0 to 100. She's either super obedient, super respectful, or non-stop clapbacks, as we've seen with her and Frieren. She's a savage with Frieren, calling her out with her ruthless spending, buying all these needless potions, skeleton skulls, demon horns. And I guess here it shows that, oh, okay. Because I was like, why did Fern seem so somber when Stark said, hey, stop calling me sir, please. We're the same age. I was wondering, why is Fern seem so down? I think she was calculating in her mind, okay, so if no sir, and we're the same age, got it, information received, synchronized. Fern is like a robot. Data, retreat, Stark, get your ass over here.
そういうのじゃ
Very black and white.
いろいろあるでしょ。
はあ、
Also, again, I've been speculating since episode, I guess, 1 or 2 when Fern came onto the show that Fern is depressed because a lot of childhood trauma speculation just from her, I guess, prematurity, her parentification, right? Definition of parentification is right there. That you are forced to be parentified to grow up, to act as a parent, even though you're a child. There is a list called cognitive distortions. It's when your thoughts, which is cognitions, are distorted based on how you feel and your mood. And for depression, folks, it's usually black and white thinking. That's one of the list of cognitive distortion that's mostly common. But there's many different distortions out there cognitively. So for black and white thinking, which even myself fall prey to once in a while because of my personality traits, it's black or white. It's A or B. You're either with me or against me. No middle grounds, no nuances. Just like the American burning down political landscapes, no middle ground. It's fight or death. You're with me or against me. This is what Stark means here. There is a middle ground. You don't have to go from Sir Stark to Stark, get your ass over here. But I think it might be, again, part of the manifestation and display of Fern's subtle depression, even though she's been feeling better. It's called black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. No empathy. She went back. See? Black and white thinking. She doesn't know how to be in the middle. She flips.
よければ町までご案内します。初めて見ました。まあ珍しいからね。
Right here, I think that narration is setting the stage that, as I talked about in the beginning of the episode with my speculation, I think that Frieren has now also become a part of the myth. She's now went from a historical figure to a myth-like figure, even though it's only been 28 years after Himmel's death. But remember, there was another, 80 years before that when they actually defeated Demon King, if my memory serves me correctly. So it's been over a century and some changes. Of course, for Frieren, that's a trifling moment, a blip in her long lifespan. But to humans, that's a lifetime and a half. So I think it's like, oh, I've never seen an elf before. I didn't even know you guys were real. Yeah, we're pretty rare creatures. There's some truth in that, of course. I don't know the actual context about elves and their presence in this show. I'm not an elf historian or an elf psychotherapist. But I think the anime is setting the stage, which this show does beautifully throughout this season so far. I think it's setting the stage that Frieren is now a myth, that people don't even know if she exists. Was there an elf mage that defeated the Demon King and so on? We'll see how that unfolds. Oh. Wow. I think this maybe sort of answers my ongoing question since episode 2, because all of Frieren's memory recall or memory consolidation, that's a technical term, right? How we consolidate our memories, because our memories are not actually stored. They're consolidated and recalled based on different stimuli, smell, food, settings, places, people. For Frieren, it's mostly about the conquest to defeat the Demon King and Himmel the hero. I always wonder if there were romantic interest between Frieren and Himmel the hero, because all of her memories were about Himmel the hero, like 99.9% of the time. I'm not saying 100, but there's some other factors, right? Some outliers. So I guess in this case, it kind of answered my question that they lack any reproductive instinct and any romantic interest. And it is right. Our humans, elves aside, we humans are not just reproductive machines. Sure, according to evolution biology, the evolution benefits the genes, not us. Because for a lot of our, I guess, evolutionary purposes, it's all about carrying our genes down to the next generation to ensure the survival of the species as a whole. But we humans have this thing called neocortex, this higher thinking brain. We're not just mammals with the biggest brains. We have the spiritual realm. We are so multidimensional. So sex for us is not just to reproduce. It's not our reproductive functions like we are robots, AI, There's love, there's romance, there's intimacy, there's meaningful memory making, there's awe, there's all this contemplation of what is the meaning of life. All these things, which sounds like elves, they do not have that. That's why they're going extinct as a whole. It's very deep.
最後に同族と会ったのは400年以上
Damn, 400 years ago.
案外終わりは近いのかもね。街が見えてきましたね。
今夜は解放祭ですから。今日は勇者ヒンメル様ご一行がこの地域を支配していた魔族を討伐してくださった日です。
そんなこともあっ
Bro, the legendary mage that did that is right in front of you, my fam. Oh, I like Frieren's like, oh yeah, I forgot we did that. That was just a little tiny blip in my long time. Just another event that I did. No big deal. But fam, she's right in front of you. She is the party that defeated the Demon King. See, another stage setting that she's a myth now. That people don't even know what she looks like or have forgotten. I'm very curious to see how Frieren and even her party, Stark and Fern, reconcile with that difference. This illusions of idealization, the myth, and this actual reality. And it's very interesting, not just for Frieren or other people in the city, but I'm more curious about the psychological impact of this being caught in between, the middle, for Fern and Stark. That the mage that they've been traveling with is not just, it's literally legendary because that's legends, myth. I'm curious to see how they reconcile with this being caught in the middle. Very interesting development.
解放祭はその日を記念したもので
Liberation.
街の中央
Wow,
広場にある
pretty.
ヒンメル様たちの像を飾り付け
人間は大げさだね。何でもかんでも祭りに従う。
Frieren here says that humans are so dramatic. We turn every little things into this big festivals. I tell my clients in my clinical practice often, if we do not celebrate the little milestones, we will not celebrate the big milestones. I had a client tell me this very, very sad and powerful story. It's like the opposite of what I'm saying, that he as a man never learned how to cry. Society says, as men, we're a provider, we are strong warriors, don't show your emotions. What does that even mean? Like, men, we're not humans, we're robots, we're AIs. So he never was taught that was acceptable for his cultural understanding and cultural norms and societal norms that, hey, don't cry. So he never cried in his 34 years of his life. And then his dad passed away, I think a year or two before he came to me. And do you know what he came to me for? Regrets. Do you know what he regretted about? That he was not able to cry at his father's funeral. Think about this. He loved his dad dearly, grew up in a single father household. Him and his dad were very, very close. And think about the impact of what it had on him, but also the people attending the funeral. That his only son, the father's only son, which is my client's, they didn't even cry or show any sadness at the funeral. Just like what people talked about Frieren at Himmel's funeral. Remember that? She's so heartless. She has no emotions. Does that actually mean that Frieren or my clients has no emotions? No. It just meant their emotions so constricted. They don't know how to facially express their emotions or sit with those emotions. So even if they want to cry, they couldn't. That's why Frieren couldn't cry until the end of the funeral. When they were digging and actually burying Himmel the hero, that's when she had delayed grief. That's a technical term. And a lot of people experience this. When we don't know how to express and sit with and reconcile with these healthy emotions. Grief is a price we pay to experience love. I'll say that one more time. I believe that grief is the price we pay to experience love. So in my client's case, he came to me because he couldn't believe he was not able to cry at his father's funeral. And this is what I mean. It's the same thing with sadness or happiness. if you don't practice being sad, learning to express all of your emotions, not just the happy excitement, if you don't do that, in monumental occasions like his dad's funeral, he will not be able to cry. Same for here. This is why we're learning to celebrate every milestones, the promotion, the first year anniversary, first 3 months of honeymoon, your child's first birth, and so on. We have to celebrate. We have to celebrate all these meaningful little milestones, no matter the size, because if we do not, we will not be able to celebrate the big ones. And if we do not learn how to cry or be sad or grieve on a small occasions, we will experience exactly what my client experienced. And that is so sad and depressing for the client and everyone else. Just like if you want to be faster in running, what do? You don't just stretch more. You don't just buy more expensive shoes. You don't just run at a fancier, nicer track and fields. Yes, we do that. But what's the most important thing? You run more. You run more frequently. This is exactly why we humans are dramatic and we turn every little thing into festival. It's very important, has long-lasting impact if we do not do that. Okay, about 80 years ago. True. Our traditions, history, myth. Fifth try.
ヒンメルってよく像作ってもらっているよね。
僕たちは君と違って長く生きるわけじゃないから。後世にしっかりと僕のイケメンぶりを残しておかないと。
I love the sparkle in the hair flick.
でも君が未来で一人ぼっちにならない。
Aww, I just got goosebumps. So thoughtful.
おとぎ話じゃないたちは確かに実在したんだ。
We are not a myth. We are not just feel-good stories. We actually existed. This is what we call narrative therapy, definition right here. In our clinical terms, narrative therapy is saying that what sort of legacy do you want to live? What sort of stories and life do you want to live? And based on that legacy, we can reverse engineer. And we are the stories we tell about ourselves. This is why self-criticism only is a little bit helpful. Because if we're constantly criticizing ourselves, constantly, think about how that makes us feel. Tiny and small and fragile and useless. Would you berate other people saying, you're useless, you're stupid, you're short, you're dumb, you're a moron? Would you ever say it to another person, another friend of yours? You will get punched in the face. So why do we do that about ourselves? Why do we say all these mean things and beating ourselves up over and over again over mistakes? Life is comprised of mistakes and lessons, right? So narrative therapy, the thesis of that is we are the stories we tell about ourselves, to ourselves, about others, and the world around us. It's a very powerful and helpful therapy modality because we are the stories we tell ourselves over time. Think about what is life. Life is comprised of a series of long sequence of conversations and moments. That is what life is. So we have to be extra thoughtful and cognizant about the stories we tell about ourselves and others and the world around us. And narrative therapy, and that's what Himmel was saying, that we don't want to be alone and we are not just a myth. We actually existed. We left a footprint into this world. We made a tangible difference. Isn't that what all of us are striving for? Is to leave something behind that we are proud of?
こうやって毎年のように勇者ヒンメル様ご一行の功績を称え
That's
るの
awesome.
です。そういえば、あなたは勇者様ご一行のフリーレン様の像に
You sure look like, come on, she's an elf. You don't know anything about elf? They live a long time? I guess elves are rare, so maybe this person didn't have the knowledge of elves. But yeah, she sure looks like the statue because Duh.
よく似ていらっしゃる。
Incidentally.
これ100年後も続いているかな。
この町が続く限りは。
1000年後は。
Damn.
それは。
Frieren is really good at killing the vibe. As kids say that, bro, you're ruining the vibe, bro.
そういえばこの旅の目的地ってまだ聞いてなかったな。
天国。
そいつは楽しそうだ。
Heaven? Hopefully they can get to heaven, just like Flammo the Mage talked about in the last episode, without having to die first. Since not everyone is like Jesus, who can resurrect after 3 days. So peaceful.
衛兵が多いですね。何かあったのでしょうか。
Ongoing
買い
battles.
出し当番決めようぜ。
フリーレン様、街中ですよ。
What's going on? There's a demon. 3 demons. Oh, what the Yo!
確かにわしはお前たちを殺したいほど憎んでいる。だが街中で堂々と
Oh, okay, okay.
大方事情も知らぬ冒険者といったところだろう。冷静で殺意のこもった。
Killer. Too bad this demon has no idea. It's like, bro, the one you're looking down right now, the elf, took out your freaking boss, bro. She took out your dearest demon king. I hope there's a rude awakening for this demon and this plot twist where she just freaking destroys him. I hope that happens, since as we all know, action scenes are rare in this show. Nah, bro. She took out your king.
君のその目、猛獣でも見ているかのような目だ。
Because you are. Damn.
人の声真似をするだけの言葉の通じない猛獣だ。
Damn. Frieren really knows how to yeah, just brutal savagery honesty. And I guess that's how she also talks like to some people too. But wow, what a badass, dude. Like Frieren's charisma, I forgot. We've been seeing her goofy side, her sleeping in. She's always half awake. Fern always has to comb her hair. She's always buying useless potions and weird skeletons. But we forgot she's a
amazing
killer legendary mage. They have no idea. You're gonna put her in the dungeons? Why aren't they doing anything? Come on, Fern and Stark. Oh, they know. It's like, she'll be fine. They have no idea who she is. I'm sure Frieren can blow up the entire castle and dungeons.
暇だな。
I'm so bored.
フリーレン様。
2、3年は反省しろってさ。
What?
思ってたより短いね。
That's shorter than expected. Again, this is because of Frieren's longevity and her lack of urgency. If you could live 10,000 years, let that sink in. 10,000 years. Let's say you're 30, I'm 31 right now, right? It's like 31 times 300. 300 more lifetime of what I have now. Would you be urgent? No, you wouldn't. We wouldn't do anything. But again, we know how Fern and Stark feels about 2 or 3 years because they're humans. It's a finite amount of resource. Time, except for elves, time is the #1 equalizer. It equalizes the privileges, the advantages, the disadvantages, the circumstances, everything. Time is a single-handedly the most powerful equalizer, period. So we'll see how, again, the longevity and this time perception, temporal perception, and urgency show up once again. And I'm sure Frieren doesn't care she's in a dungeon. She's like, oh, that's a millisecond in my lifetime. But I'm sure Fern and Stark are going to urge her, could you also think about us, please? Yeah, we don't live 10,000 years. And we're not going to just wander around the city with all these unfulfilled desires for Fern and Stark. Because remember, they want to live the most meaningful and fulfilling adventures for the sake of their masters. So let's see how this develops.
後で魔導書の差し入れ持ってきて
She's like, yes! Frieren is like, yes, finally, some quiet alone time to study my magic.
フリーレン様は本当に時間を無駄にするのが好きですね私だって痛くてここにいるわけじゃないよ魔族が和睦の使者ってどういうことなの担当大のアウラは知っていますよね魔王直下の大魔族七宝剣の一人でしょ私たちとの戦いで配下のほとんどを失って消息不明のはずだけどアウラは28年も前に力を取り戻していますこの町はその軍勢と長い間戦ってきたようなのですが
After Himmel died. This is why it's been 28 years after Himmel the hero's death for the last, I think, 3 episodes, if I remember correctly. I was like, why is it 28 years old? This is the significance. The most powerful sage, the general under the Demon King, has regained her power 28 years ago. This anime is so intricately detailed. There is no pointless detail. There is no fillers. Everything serves a purpose. This is a mastery of anime. Amazing. Shout out to my editor Kent for recommending this episode.
和睦の申し出をしてきたそうですそれで死者を受け入れたのか魔族との対話なんて無駄な行為だ
Frieren knows. Many people tried.
言葉があるんだ話し合いで解決するならそれに越したことはねえじゃねえか
What do you guys think? I would love to hear your thoughts below. Is there a point to attempted peace resolution or peace treaty with the demons, who are savage beasts who merely imitate humans? Would you try to use words, which is a gift that humans are bestowed upon? According to evolutionary theory, that we humans became the most apex predators of now because Neanderthals, because we were Homo sapiens descent, Neanderthals had bigger brains, they had bigger bodies and bigger structure. But they gathered in, I think, 70 to 80 in a village, according to archaeological research and evidence. But Homo sapiens gathered in 120 to 150. We were the largest hunters and gatherers in the ancient species. And people, or I guess the speculation or the evolutionary theory is that for us, we gave up a lot of our physicality in attainment of sociality. But how do you socialize? Through language, through communication. So language is what allowed us to be the apex predator, to become the best. So words do have a huge purpose, and we humans, I don't know about aliens, but we humans are the only species known on this world that ever existed, could communicate what's in the internal to the external. Think about what language is. I love things like this, right? That's why I'm going to geek out for a second, and I am a nerd, own up to it. Language is the most powerful technology we've ever created. Think about the intricacies and the amazingness of language. Language allows two different people from two different cultures, different backgrounds, different skin tone, different races, different nationalities, and different sexes to communicate what's in the internal to the external. We can communicate and share what we're thinking about in our brains because we don't read minds to another person and vice versa. That's language. It's the most powerful technology before the nuclear bombs and the internet and the current AI revolution. So language is super powerful, I agree. But can you use language and logic to have a productive discourse and peace treaty with demons, the savage beast? Or do we need to be strong and use force and destroy them at all costs? What do you guys think?
解決しないから無駄なんだよ魔族は人食いの化け物だそいつらが人類と同じ言葉を使う理由を考えたことはある
Damn, this is deep and dark. Humans forgot, but Frieren knows.
勇者様早くとどめを
まだ子供だ
Damn. It's for empathy and sympathy. Yo, these demons, man.
痛いお母さん
Wow, they're all faking, dude.
魔族と同じだな。
Oh shit. Oh man.
食わないと生きていけないってわけじゃないんだろ 村長
Oh. Oh, damn. I'm guessing this young demon's gonna eat the chief or the daughter? Oh shit, dude. Oh god, this is not gonna go well. It's not going to bode well.
愛を探していたところだ
ヒメル、今殺しておかない。
She's going to eat the village.
だってあいつ。
僕たちには言葉がある。どうせこの村には滞在する。
Oh man. It's not going to bode well. It's going to be an expensive lesson. Oh shit, dude. Oh boy. I don't even know what to say. Can you teach compassion? Can you teach human empathy to alligator? Can you teach human empathy to killer whale? I take that back, actually. Killer whales have never killed a human, right? So they're actually amazing. They just eat great white sharks and other stuff. So I'm sorry, killer whales. You're innocent for against humans. But back to my serious point. Serious face. Can you teach human empathy and human compassion to predators like alligators and great white sharks? No, you can't. Not everything can be learned through acquisition. Not everything can be picked up through learning. I hope they don't just turn this memory recall off. I need to know what happened to this village. I hope the village survived. But she's a demon. Demon. Demonic monsters. Demon. Oh god. This is not going to do well. These emotions and joy don't mean anything to the demons. They don't share the neural receptor. See, what did I say?
なぜ村長を殺した？
やっぱりあの時殺しておくべきだったんだわ。
またです。ですから用意しました。あなたの娘の代わりを。
What the fuck?
娘だ。
Replacement. See? See? Oh man, you can't teach demonic monsters, demons, or predatory species like alligators, human emotions. They don't, like, literally don't have the neural receptors. If you don't have the neural receptors, you just can't do it. They don't have the capacity. So to her, it's just a replacement. To her, however, she looks a little bit older. However years it's been gone by, it didn't make any dent or any impact for this demon girl. I guess this answers my question earlier. It's futile effort. You cannot teach a beast human emotion because they don't have the capacity for it. Full stop. Mic drop.
私は何か選択
See, for her, it's all choices. Choices.
仕方がありません。
Damn. Yo, Himmel's pretty OP. I've finally seen some of his power.
他
See, even when they're dying, there's nothing.
産み落とされてから多く
Wow.
家族という概念すら存在。
That's all fake. The,
なんでお母さん
wow. Survival instinct.
殺せなくなるでしょう。まるで魔法のような素敵な言葉。
Yo, nonstop goosebumps. Holy shit. I say mom not because I understand the concept or not because I value family, because family is literally a foreign concept to the demons. They say it because they are able to learn survival instinct. Species, human, every species, including humans, survival instinct is the number one primary instinct above all else. Survival is period, because without survival, nothing matters. So they can pick up survival instinct by saying mom to gain compassion from people, like the village chief and Himmel the hero who fell prey to their deception. But they cannot pick up human compassion. Very, very fundamentally different. Oh, I'm getting hyped up about this. I'm getting mad over fake characters in anime.
大魔法使いフランメは言葉を話す魔物を魔族と定義づけた。
Wow.
その祖先は獲物をおびき寄せるために物陰から助けてと言葉を発した魔物だよ。
Wow.
差し入れよろしくね。
She's so chill, so nonchalant.
人類の外交戦術だろう。それより気になるのはあの魔法使いだ。あの顔どこかで。
She's become a myth even to the demons.
この町で彼女だけが我ら人の言葉を話す理由などただ一つ。
Wow.
欺くための言葉。
They speak not to understand, but to deceive. To be fair, isn't that what comments do? And a lot of sociopaths and a lot of politicians? And this is the saddest thing, that demons and these predatory beasts, they kill for survival, they eat because it's their desire. There's no consequences. They do what they want because they have the power. But in that sense, how is that different for so many horrible humans out there who scam people, deceive, murder, mass shooting, arson? So this reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Reverend MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. He says that humans are both saints and sinners. We have the capacity to be a saint, like Mother Teresa, like Mandela, doing amazing feats for the human, amazing sacrificial act. That's the humanity in us. But we also have the capacity to do unspeakable evil. Serial murders, all the tragedies, 9/11, suicide bombers, terrorism. We are both saints and sinners. And in that sense, a lot of us, we have that dark, demonic desires within us. That's why we need to learn to tame the beast through community, through love, act of service, altruism. But they do not speak to learn, but to deceive. That's a freaking bar. Wow, deep, poetic.
どさくさに紛れて脱獄しよっと。
She knows the city's in danger.
ここは
息子の部屋だ。出来のいい息子でな。早く家督を継いでわしに楽をさせると。生意気なことをよく言っておった。
That's cute.
ご子息は今どちらに？
10年前にアウラとの戦いで死んだ。帰ってきたのはこの剣だけだ。
No emotions.
お前たちを招き入れ
Flat.
たのは息子の
That lack of facial expressions or emotional affect, using clinical term, is the same attributes that people with sociopathy, or as we colloquially call it, sociopath or psychopath, have the exact same characteristic. For a sociopath, because I also work in forensic setting, forensic psychotherapist, so I've worked with sociopathic people before. I've worked with people like who've done atrocious, horrible crimes. And I've sat in a room with sociopath before as well, a few years ago actually. They also mimic and learn other people's emotions. And in a weird way, yes, sociopaths are horrible because they commit unspeakable crimes, but in their genetic wiring, because it's a disorder, it is a disorder. They're wired and born differently. This is a very tricky and nuanced topic, so I won't go too deep into it. But when you sit across from a sociopath, as I have, and as other forensic psychotherapists, there's such a deep, such a dark topic I can't even speak properly. When you sit across from a sociopath, just like other forensic psychotherapists have as well, you know that they have no human emotions. When they kill a person, it's as natural to them as eating an apple. But of course, that's illegal and horrible. Because when you live in a society, you make an unspoken, invisible agreement that whether you like it or not, you're choosing to abide by the laws and conditions of the society you live in. Otherwise, you'd be outcasted and go somewhere else. If you don't like the United States of America or whatever country you're born, you can leave. But if you're going to receive the benefits and continue to live in this country, you have to abide by that laws, the governing of the law of that country. That's an unspoken agreement. We do that rule of governance. That's the term. So, but here it's the same thing for this demon. They have no facial expressions, no affect. It's not because they're aloof. It's literally because they're incapable of feeling these emotions. That's why they feel nothing except to survival and do what they wish, what their heart, their natural tendency desires, just like sociopath and psychopath do. He's trying to survive. Scanning.
この部屋はよく掃除が行き届いています。きっと10年前と変わらぬままなのでしょう。
それがどうした？
私もあなた方に殺された父上の部屋はそのままにしてあり。
Dude, fucking compassion, man. God damn, dude. They're so smart. What the fuck? All this is fake. Listen to even the music. This is a lie. Don't listen to him. Even that smart. Oh, God. We have words. What the fuck? No. No. We need the Frieren. Come on, Frieren, escape. Oh, fuck, dude. Am I getting too amped up about this? Man, my heart. That was so smart of him. The magic word. Indeed, I wondered that. What is father? Oh boy. Does he even understand what emphatic empathy means? How can you know what empathy means? Oh shit, dude. Except that you're about to face Frieren the mage who kicked Aura and the Demon King's ass. And Stark, I don't know if Stark is as powerful as Himmel, of course not, probably not yet. But I don't know, bro, they got a pretty kick-ass party. And I really hope in episode 8, they get their ass wiped. Please. Oh, he's gonna get his ass wiped by Frieren. A nuisance? And a guard calls him a sir. What a disgrace. Oh, you're about to get annihilated. Doratora. So calm. A bad chess move, my friends. GG. Peace. Goodbye. Yeah, bro. Ooh. Wow. Oh, this is I'm getting amped up. Wow, I didn't do as much psychological analysis towards the end because I was just getting really amped up about this, but I cannot wait till the freaking Sir Luger, whatever his demonic party gets their ass wiped along with Aura in the next episode, hopefully. Anyhow, if you found my analysis and reaction helpful, and are you looking for personalized support? If you are, then email me at discovermorepodcast@gmail.com to see how we can possibly work together. And I'd love for you to click that subscribe button and comment what you want us to do next. What do you think about this episode? It really motivates us to work harder to give you more helpful and relevant psychological concepts to help you decode the human condition together, to make our lives a little bit more interesting. And until then, see you next time. Peace.